All right, here we are. This is Saturday's full body circuit workout. It's going to be an X3 full body strength workout, but we're going to do some other stuff as well. So the kind of the phase for today, for Saturday, is we walk and prepare. Phase one. For me, it's walking with my dog Zuma. So the key when you walk even is you want to have this tall posture, right? Tall posture. You want to think about nose breathing. Relax shoulders. Enjoy creation while you're walking. This is a part of your connection to God in this process of seeking the kingdom every single day. I like to go on about 4,000 to 5,000 steps. Really, it's not the goal of steps as much as is the journey and the minutes that you say I'm going to go walking for this long. Typically, I have a path I like to take along the beach and back. The next phase is mobility work. So for me, it's a couch stretch, and I don't know, I've demonstrated a little bit, some 90-90 hip rotations. There's something called the world's greatest stretch, a deep squat hold, glute bridges, dead hang, shoulder CARs, they're called shoulder cars, and some ankle mobility work. And then an athletic warm-up. I have a background in football, so this is something that I personally like to do, which is things like high knees, butt kicks, lateral shuffle, karaoke, ace skips, walking lunges, and air squats. A couple rounds of those. Now we're going to get into the full body strength, and so today we're going to do 3 working sets for each exercise, reaching technical failure around 8 to 12 reps would be the goal. Front squat, chest press, bent over rows, overhead press, Romanian deadlift, tricep extensions, and bicep curls is what we're going to be doing. We'll finish that with some warrior conditioning, medicine ball slams, heavy bags, some farmer's carries, shoulder march, broad jumps, and then maybe some core at the end, followed by some recovery stretching again, and I can show you what those look like. So it's going to be a good one. Get ready if you want. Work out with me. But you can kind of see. And then again, this is all in the rhythm of 1 meal a day. Not because I can't eat more, it's just because that's what the season I'm in right now has brought me to. As my journey is one where I am trying to hold every thought captive. And I find when you quiet the flesh, you are able to tap into something through a fasted lifestyle, especially in the spirit and in your heart, that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. At least me, I always tell people, like, listen, you are going to be different. We are all created uniquely in the image of God, but guess what? He communicates uniquely to every single human being in a very unique way. And so there's not one way to do this. And so you got to find your way. But whatever you do, remember, it's got to be authentically to you. And it's got to be something that you feel like you could sustain as a lifestyle, especially in a season if that's where you're going. Okay? So let's get into this. I'm going to warm up just a little bit. And then we're going to start with front squat 3 sets. Okay? With, good minute and a half rest in between each one, and we'll dialogue all the way through. It's going to be a long one. So I'm going to go straight into the champion band here. It's going to be able to allow me to hit those rep ranges that I want to be going for, to the 8 to 12. And this is not, again, about I'll lower this a little bit. This is not, again, about trying to kill myself, as it is just being obedient to the plan, to the game plan that I have, right? So we'll move this over just a little bit so you can see. This is called the X3 bar, if you haven't figured that out by now. My absolutely favorite piece of equipment known to date. Once you use variable band resistance training, you, my friend, I don't think will ever go back. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, here we go. So we're going to get underneath it in the deep squat position. This is a front squat. Just like this. And then as we move out of this, and the technique here is controlled eccentric movement, breathe out on the way up. So big inhale at the bottom. Okay, so that was a good first set, but I think we got ability to add some resistance to that to get a little bit more of a challenge. And so what I'll do is I will take my next set. I'm just guessing here. I'll take this light gray greater force band and add it as another resistance barrier to that band. So it should increase the resistance. And what we'll do, we just go underneath and we're going to add that in. So right inside the band. The key is always the setup on this process. So it's almost easier to start just like this. Okay. And then in this case, we'll go underneath here. And then we'll take that band and also run it underneath with the orange band. Okay, so here we are. And we've got both of them into one. Get underneath. Okay. And now let's see how this goes. Big inhale at the bottom. Oh, yeah. Okay. Perhaps I should have done the white one, but I overestimated, or should I say underestimated. Yeah, that was tough. We'll do one more of those. That was killer. So awesome those bands can be. Look, I can hold pulls during this live. Who do you own an X3 bar? Option yes, no. I'll add another one. I want one. Save. Cool. I don't know if anybody will watch that, but let's see. I've never used that function of an X or a live before. Okay. Let's get at her one more time. Okay. Okay. 12, 8, 8. Next up. Man, I mean, something tells me I have to do one more because I don't think those 12 reps suffice on the first round. We'll call that a warm-up. I don't want to, but 3 working sets. I'm gonna have to do one more working set. Gotta be honest. First one wasn't a working set. So we'll do one more set. It's my primary lower body movement. And then we'll do chest press next. Okay? Ooh. This is a good place to set up and rest for a second and practice your lower body deep squat position. Drive up through the heels and the shoulders to let that back collapse is a cue here. Front squat is done. Thank you. Oh. Next up is chest press. So we will use this beast of a band as well. Right around chest, like so. Grab a drink of water before we start. Okay, here we go. Okay. That was good. So we are doing 3 sets of those. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Big inhale, and then we push out on the exhale. One more set. All right. Feeling good, y'all. Feeling good. Okay. Okay, so if you're just joining, we started with 3 sets, working sets of X3 front squats, right? So we got into the front squat position, and then we started with the orange band, which I'm using right now in the front squat. This orange band, it's a beast, but you can add bands to it to actually increase the tension. So in this case, I added the 34-inch Paraforce band. So I added this guy right here. So orange plus the light gray 34-inch Paraforce to my front squat, and I did 3 sets of 8. Now I'm on my last set of chest press, just the orange. I got 12 the first time, like 10 the second, and we'll see what happens for my 3rd set. We're doing a total body workout today. So that's what you missed. You can go back and watch, or not. It's just more for all of us to sharpen one another, right, guys? Iron sharpens iron, so let's do this together. Okay, so here we go. Last set, 3 working sets. Big inhale. Yeah, that thing is a beast. Okay, we're done. We did front squats for 3 sets, chest press for 3 sets. Now we're gonna do a bent over row. Bent over row, strong controlled squeeze at the top. Again, we're doing 3 working sets, 8 to 12. 8 to 12 reps is the goal with the strategy and the routine for today for my workout. Okay, so come over here, and I'm gonna grab the white 34-inch greater force bands. Now I could go heavier, but when I'm bending over rowing, I'm trying to hit and touch the belly button for a second, and the hands are gonna be in more and then out, right? So you're coming literally over the knees where you start, and you squeeze right here and then out. So that's at least in my perspective, is I want to actually touch skin. That's why I want to get that squeeze and then back out. And that's why I go a little bit lighter to emphasize that. So what I'll do is I'll come up closer, lower this for you to show you what I'm doing. So doubling up the band, okay? So where you can see me here, all right? Okay, starting position right below, knees over the bar. Okay. So, first set, we got 2 more. And this is when you could try, depends. Could I go a little bit heavier? Maybe. And maybe I will, just to see how it feels on this next set. But you gotta be careful with ego, right? It's often ego that gets in the way of a good workout because we're trying to impress. I don't know who we are, but you want to press it, but you never want to impress, so you get hurt on the process, and then you're set back weeks. So let's get back into bent over row. I like to take a good 60 seconds to 90 seconds in between working sets. And in today's full body workout, Saturday, which I don't typically get this much time, I'm doing 3 working sets for each exercise for a full body workout. So we've done the front squat, chest press, and now we're doing bent over row. Water, salt, that's what I use during the fast. So you've been following my journey, guys. 26 straight days of 1 meal a day, and typically it's in the evening in like that 6 to 8 o'clock window. And basically, I would say carnivore with the exception of some condiments like mustard and pepper. Basically just seafood, eggs, and beef have been my thing these days. Okay, let's try this again. We're going up to the light gray band. Two, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Yeah. Gotta be careful because you'll sacrifice a little form if you go too heavy. Let's one more set after this, and then we're gonna do overhead press. Shoulder press overhead. Love-hate relationship with the shoulder press because God knows it's one of the hardest things. I used to do CrossFit and we'd do handstand push-ups, walks, and presses, even kipping against the wall. And some guys are just natural shoulders, like my little brother. Mine, I gotta work at them. So it's good to always get to work on the weakness, right? We're gonna stay tall, don't arch your back. So the key is you're gonna keep that lumbar curve by really getting the foundation's gonna be in your glutes and your heels so that you don't break the back. You're gonna bring that pelvis tucked in, which is power through the glutes. But we got one more bent over row first. Here we go. Okay, now we're back. We're gonna go overhead press. So, I'll probably start with the light gray on this one. And I'll go a little bit higher because you really don't need to see the bottom of it as much as you need to see the top. So we go overhead, finish right up here, right? So in this position, the cue is ground through the heels, squeeze the butt. That was good. I think I'll stay there because I want to have 3 good working sets. I could go, and I have gone, to the next one, but then there's a little bit too much striving for those, and I want to feel like I'm completing. I've trained almost every day this week in a different capacity. Yesterday I did sprints and agility type of work. A few other days I was doing heavy bag, always mixing up the splits, but moving. So tomorrow will be a complete rest day. Sunday, it'll be more, it won't be completely rest, I'll be walking, I'll be like stretching, rolling out, that kind of work, but no exercise other than the walk. And lately it's been, on average about 12,000 steps a day. Well, at least that's what my phone says, but it's, 3 walks a day with my dog, and she needs to get out. It makes me get out in the sun. It's healthy, right? Okay. Second set. Big inhale at the bottom. One more. Okay, so first set, 12, 10 second. Good choice to stay there. We're gonna do one more working set for the press. So, overhead press, and then we're gonna do Romanian deadlift, which is emphasizing hamstrings and glutes. So it's like a deadlift, right? So typically with a deadlift, you're coming down here. Let me come up a little bit so you can show you. Coming down here and pressing, but with the Romanian deadlift, that comes back a little bit more. So you then focus here on your hamstrings, right? Instead of here with the deadlift, it's here, almost a straight leg, but not quite. This is going to be the cues on the next lift. But we have one more set of overhead press. Correct? Okay. Let's go. I like 60 to 90 seconds rest as a good rule of thumb, sometimes longer if you need recovery for a strength-based training session. Okay, last one. All right, well, 12, 10, 9. The key was we were looking for sitting in that 8 to 12 rep range, so we did get that goal for the 3 working sets. And now we're going to move into Romanian deadlifts, and I'll probably use the 34-inch black band for this one. Here we go. So we'll double up here. We'll come up closer and then I'll lower it for you guys to see. Now, again, the cue, you're going to see, I like to use some chalk because you do not want to slip with that bar, especially if you're barefoot. And our butt is going to come out a little bit more because we're emphasizing the hamstrings on this one. It's a Romanian deadlift. Okay? So, unlike a traditional deadlift, I'm going to take a hook grip. Okay. Okay, so again, the cue is not so much bending like a deadlift, it's out here instead, so you concentrate on the hamstrings a little bit more with the Romanian style of deadlift. Okay, we're going to do 2 more of those. So we got Romanian, and then we got triceps, and then we got biceps to finish before we do some conditioning circuits for 3 rounds. And listen, my base is X3, but my background and experience is in football. And so when I complement some of these training sessions, I'm not saying you should always follow Dr. John Jaquish's recommendation. But just like he has adaptations to the Westside Barbell programming, whether you're athlete or hypertrophy bodybuilding, you know, all these guys in the group, they have their ways. I'm not saying you should do my way. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. But if you're looking for a solid foundation, go back to this, the original, right? The OG pull day and push day. That's what your baseline should be before you can start doing anything else, right? I've been doing the X3 program for a long time. For some of you guys, I think it's important to recognize yourself. Part of this journey is knowing thyself, correct? Don't get into something you're not ready for. Okay, again, Romanian deadlift, not regular deadlift there. So notice one is more geared towards lower, that's a deadlift. Romanian, you're just slowly moving that knee just a little bit further back, but butt goes out a little bit farther, so the concentration then becomes on the back of the legs and hamstrings, correct? You'll feel it. You'll notice a difference. Because if I were to pull, my best pull in my college or in my CrossFit days was 435 pounds for 5 reps, using a hook grip overhand. That's why to this day I still grip my bar like that from Olympic lifting days. From the pulls, right? From the cleans, from the snatches overhead. That was our Olympic work. I was trained by a great coach, Danny Henry. If he ever watches this, it was him. So to this day, I can't get away from hook grips. I wouldn't recommend you do it unless you have practice. You start getting the calluses right here from that hook grip. Okay. You would never pull a Romanian deadlift that heavy. Just like a good morning exercise, the key is we're working the hamstrings here. Okay, you gotta know when to stop. And that was my cue. Okay. We're gonna stay on with this one here, and we're gonna try to do some tricep extensions, AKA, I like to call them skull crushers. You remember your cue is elbows in and lock, but you're coming right above the nose. That's why it's called a skull crusher, because if you let go, boom, you're gonna get hit right there, right? So be careful. Keep those elbows in, know the strength, but we're working, what? See that tri-city, baby? That's what we're working, is the triceps here. So we're elbows in and we're pushing rather than a press. Here, we're hitting the chest. Here, primarily our focus is on the triceps, right? So we get into it the same way as we would a chest press. The thing with these shorter bands is getting it around your back. If you have broader shoulders, right? It's definitely my favorite bands. I have both the OG and these ones. Nothing like it. Okay, so we get ready. Get mentally ready and sharp. Elbows stay in, starting just the top of the head. And let's go. Okay. I think I'll stay here. I'll be happy if I get 8 in those next 2 sets. But you would think you wouldn't have energy going carnivore. Guess what, guys? Not only am I disproving that you can be a fantastic athlete primarily with fat fuel. When you're going through a high protein diet, your body naturally is turning any excess protein into glucose. That's a natural process of your body. So your body always will have that in you, but it's primarily driving through ketones. And when you become ketosis focused, your body naturally starts burning the fat you already have, especially if you're in a caloric deficit. Now, I never try to be in a caloric deficit because I'm only eating 1 meal a day. So I'm crushing. Like, trust me, I've got on average, at least a half a dozen, sometimes a dozen eggs a day, sardines with olive oil, and then a pound or 2 of beef is typical, all in 1 hour setting. And then I just fast the other 23 hours. Lots of water, salt, and only two I limit myself to, strong espresso-like coffees. They're called biolati, Italian. Yeah, simple, right? Simple. And it's been almost a full month. As of Monday, it'll be 4 straight weeks of 1 meal a day. And my training is getting back, feeling strong again. I'm not really losing anymore, but I'm not trying to lose weight. It's almost like a recomp, right? Recomp, your body, muscle weighs more than fat. So once your body burns through enough fat, it'll start turning into muscle. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's what I expected. 9 reps. Okay. So that is we got 1 more set, and then we do biceps for the final X3 workout. And then we're going to go into a conditioning circuit. Can I get an amen? Okay. So you put it on like you would put on a briefcase. we are using the Greater Gains black band for the tricep workout. I did the orange band for the chest press. I'm sure I could have probably used that for this too, but I think it'd be comparable. That orange band is almost like using this band, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to test it out a little bit more. Okay, last time. Let's do a different angle. Let's do the left this time. Oh, it was ugly, but we did it. Okay, now we're gonna do bicep curls, okay? And I think I'll start with the light gray band for the bicep curls. See how that works. Come a little bit lower here. Okay. And we'll do a side view. Side view here. Cool. Stand up. Bring this up just a little bit because you don't need to see everything. Just where I'm pulling. So I'm going to try to make it like as if I were in a preacher curl position. Elbows stay glued to the side, chest up. Felt good. You gotta love the pump that you get. So, 2 more sets of there. I think I'm just gonna stay there. No ego involved in this one. And then we're gonna do a warrior conditioning circuit between medicine ball slams, heavy bag for 60 seconds, a farmer's carry with a soldier step into it. And then some broad jumps. We'll rest 90 seconds between each and one of those rounds. And then the core, a couple rounds will be a hollow hold, side planks, dead bug, and bird dog. If you haven't done those, I'll show you what they are. And then we're gonna do some recovery. And that's it, guys. It's a longer one today, but if you structure it right, you can do occasional ones, right? It just depends. I do a lot of this because it's just fun. I don't, sometimes we don't have the time. And when we don't have the time, we do what's necessary. But when you do occasionally in a season of life have the time, why not? Okay. Next up. Okay, one more set. So I save all these workouts to YouTube. I do them live on Facebook, but I download them and then save them to YouTube so they can live forever. Not that anybody will ever go back, but Facebook deletes their stuff after 30 days, so I figured just in case. Okay. Okay, we're done with X3. Now, we're gonna do rounds of medicine ball slams, heavy bag work for 60 seconds, a farmer's carry with a soldier march, and broad jumps. Okay, so I'll get it ready so you can see it all. Yeah, that's good. That's a good view. So, medicine ball slams, followed by heavy bag for 60 seconds, farmer's carries, get those ready. Farmer's carries will be with like a soldier march for 20, and then a broad jump, which I'll show you what those are in a second. Okay, so let's get the timer out. And here we go. All right, now we get the gloves on. And let's touch that. We're going to do 60 seconds of this. Okay. Now from here, we're going to go to farmer's carry. So we grab this. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So now I'm going to do broad jumps. Okay? So start over here. going to do 5 of them. 1, walk it back. 2, walk it back. 3, walk it back. 4, walk it back. 5. All right. And now we're going to take 60 to 90 second rest. We're going to do it all over again for 2 more rounds. That's the warrior conditioning. It's fun. Okay. You don't have to have a heavy bag, but something tells me that something inside of you wants it. There's at least in my heart, a feeling deep inside that's connected to the warrior, even biblically speaking. You know, I know we could take it back to the garden and speak about there was never such thing, but guess what? We're not in the garden, and there's forces out there that will prey on you. And hopefully you can battle it in the spiritual, but there might be a day where you have to battle it in the physical. And if that's the case, stand your ground, be prepared. God will be with you. Okay. Heavy bag. These are, I think I had these from my high school, college days. Still, they're 12-ounce gloves. Yep. 60 seconds. We have farmer's carry. So I'm gonna be working my hip flexor strength and kicking, because for me, that's my weak point. It's not my core strength, but my hip flexors that typically give out. So I've been in a season of both using a little bit of strength and mobility, rolling out, stretching, but also strengthening the hip flexors as well, right? And when you do a leg raise, you're getting to work that psoas and the hip flexors. And then we got 5 broad jumps. Walk it back. Walk it back. back. All right, 2 rounds. 1 more to go. Okay. Oh, I never created the pool. I thought I did. We got 1 more set. 10 ball slams. All right. Now we got 60 seconds of back work. Soldier march. Okay. Broad jumps. Okay. Next up, core. Medicine ball, we've done. Okay, now core. Hollow hold, side planks, dead bug, bird dog. I'll show you what I mean. We'll get to the ground. Okay, so hollow hold, go to the ground, and we're gonna hold toes pointed out, hands just to the side, like this. So you're in a hollow body position, holding it for 30 seconds. You will feel it in the hips, hip flexors, at least that's where I do too, and the lower abs. That's why it's part of my regime. Okay, now we're going to do side planks. So you come over to the side, Start with the right hand side. Hands here. And we're up. Hips off the ground. 30 seconds. Shoulders back. Should be filling in the obliques. Okay, and then we're going to switch it up on the other side. Now we go left. Hips off the ground. Seconds. Okay. And now we've got dead bug. So it's on your back for 10 each side. So you come on your back here, okay? And your opposite hand, opposite leg. So it looks like this. You try to keep that lower back glued to the ground. And it's going to look like this. That's 1. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. Really keep that lower back. Try to get and visualize that lower back glued to the ground. Okay, so that's bird dog, or excuse me, dead bug. This next one is bird dog. So now we go on all fours, opposite leg, opposite arm. Pretend you had a cup of water on your lower back and you had to keep it there without it falling. So you have to keep that lower back nice and tight. Pelvis in. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay, that's 1 round. So we're going to do at least 1 more of those. It took about 4 minutes. Okay. And then recovery, we're going to do some stretching. I'll show you some of my stretches. Let's go back into hollow hold. Okay, now we're going to do side plank, right side, feet stacked, hips off the floor, arm parallel or perpendicular, I should say. Switch the other side. Okay, and then we've got dead bugs, 10 on each side. Again, on the ground, lower back to the floor. Opposite arms, opposite leg. 1, 2. All right, that's dead bug, and now we got bird dog. Okay. Do we want to do one more round for core? Or do we want to go with recovery? Let's not push it. It's a good workout already. So let's go into recovery. Couch stretch. So come all the way back to the wall. Bring that right leg, right knee as far back as you can to the wall. And then focus on the hips. I can't tell if you can see me or not over there, but key is pressing through the glute, opening up the quads. Switch the other side. So that's called a couch stretch. Now we're going to get into hamstring stretch. So easiest way is straight legs. Grab those toes if you can. flexor stretch. So you bring left knee out, squeeze through the glute, and come forward with the hips. So you're concentrating on that hip flexor. And really, you could bring that same side right arm over, and a little bit of a twist to the side can give you a deeper opening for that hip flexor. Remember to squeeze through the glute and the hips. Okay, switch to the other side. Same thing, move those hips forward, those pelvic. Lean into it through this leg, grab that same arm, and come over and see if you can get a little bit more of a deeper hip opening. Okay, I'll open up the screen just a little bit so you can see a little bit higher. One of my favorite stretches, no matter where you are, is this next one. It's a pigeon stretch. So you almost come in that downward dog, bring that left leg all the way up, knee all the way through, and then over to this position right here. This is called the pigeon. And then slowly bring those elbows down if you can. And if you can get deep enough, you can take that opposite arm and come all the way underneath and lay on that right shoulder of the opposite leg. And get a deep stretch in those hips. Switch it up. Right leg. Take that opposite arm underneath. Oh yeah, it feels good. And then child's pose. Come, I actually wouldn't mind a little bit of frog, because this is a frog one. Kind of bring those elbows or those knees out. Elbows on the ground, and you kind of move that butt back to open up that inner thigh and groin area. That's a good one. Right? Another good one for the quads is you lay in between your your heels, bring the elbows back to the ground, and then press through the top of the knees and butt off the ground so you can get a little bit deeper stretch. And that complements really well with the backward bend and shoulders as well. Child's pose would be here. Bringing hands overhead and coming over in that prayer position and then sitting in between your legs. And one of my other favorites is just laying on your back. Happy baby. Opening up those hips that way too. Keeping that tailbone to the floor is a good opener as well. Okay, so that's it for the day. I'm going to do a walk a little bit later, but it's a long workout. But you can see it's all different types of fitness. What we did was we did walking and warrior mobility and athletic warm-up, X3 full body strength, a warrior conditioning circuit, some core, and we finished with some recovery. It's a full day's work, and then I'm gonna go walk later to get those 12K steps in, and then one meal later for the end. So any questions, feel free to reach out to me, guys. I'm one quick message away or comment away. Seek first the kingdom. Trust in the Lord God with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. Trust me, if your understanding will get you in trouble. That's why we need God's word to be the light to our path, the lamp to our feet, right? Like it shall be more than anything. What I want you to recognize is that this one meal a day that I'm doing is not something that I take lightly. I'm not doing it for the physical reasons, although you do get great physical benefits. When you prioritize things of the spirit and the soul by starving that part of your body that wants to eat, at least just, in a 24-hour period, it absolutely allows for you to do and be tuned into things of the kingdom in the spirit that you haven't recognized until you are starving the flesh. Because we're so used to indulging the flesh from the moment. And this is not just what we put into our mouth, this is also what we allow into our ears and what we watch with our eyes. Amen. God bless you.